Washington, D.C. is so much more than just a city. It's the very heartbeat of the United States. Imagine a place designed from the ground up to be the center of a new nation. That was the vision. After the Revolutionary War, the country's founders knew they needed a special place for their government. They didn't want any single state to have too much power by hosting the capital. So they decided to create a brand new independent district. This new city would belong to all Americans, a neutral ground where the business of the nation could be done. It was a bold and brilliant idea, one that has shaped the country ever since. The location itself was a compromise, a careful choice. Situated along the Potomac River, it was a midway point between the northern states and southern states. This was incredibly important back then. It showed a commitment to unity, a desire to bridge the divides that already existed. President George Washington himself, a skilled surveyor, helped pick the exact spot. He envisioned a grand capital, a city that would rival the great capitals of Europe. It wasn't just about building government offices, it was about creating a symbol of American democracy, a place that would inspire citizens and command respect on the world stage. When you think of D.C., you might picture politicians in suits, tourists with cameras. But there's a whole other side to this city. It's a vibrant, living community where real people build their lives. Over 670,000 people call the district home. They live in charming neighborhoods with distinct personalities, historic row houses of Capitol Hill, trendy apartments in the U Street corridor. Life here is fast-paced and full of energy. The city is filled with young professionals, ambitious students, families who have lived here for generations. It's a place where you can feel the ambition in the air, a city of people driven to make a difference. The commute might involve a ride on the metro, the city's efficient subway system, where you'll see people reading the morning news on their tablets. Lunch breaks are often spent eating at one of the many food trucks that line the streets: Korean tacos, Ethiopian stew. After work, the city comes alive. People gather for happy hour at local bars or catch a free concert at the Kennedy Center. Weekends are for exploring farmers markets, kayaking on the Potomac River, or simply relaxing in one of the city's many beautiful parks. The story of Washington, D.C. is deeply intertwined with the story of America itself. The city's creation was a political act, and politics has shaped its every brick and boulevard. The original plan, designed by French-American architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, was grand and symbolic. He laid out a grid of streets intersected by wide avenues named after the states. Throughout its history, D.C. has been at the center of the nation's most pivotal moments. During the War of 1812, British forces famously invaded and burned many public buildings, including the White House and the Capitol. This act of destruction only strengthened the nation's resolve to rebuild its capital, making it bigger and better than before. A few decades later, the city became a focal point in the fight over slavery. It was a major hub for the Underground Railroad and home to a large and vibrant community of free African Americans. The debates that raged in the halls of Congress echoed in the streets, leading inevitably to the Civil War. The National Mall has been the site of some of the most important demonstrations in American history, from the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. Presidential inaugurations bring hundreds of thousands of people to the city to witness the peaceful transfer of power. As a federal district, not a state, D.C. has limited self-rule. Its laws and budget must be approved by Congress, a fact that has led to a long and passionate movement for D.C. statehood, with residents demanding the same rights as citizens in the 50 states. This constant political current is what makes the city so fascinating. It's a place of protest and celebration. This is a city where history isn't just in the past. It's a living, breathing force that you can feel on every street corner. Washington, D.C. is home to some of the most recognizable buildings in the world. These aren't just structures of stone and steel. They are powerful symbols of American ideals. Let's start with the United States Capitol. With its massive white dome, it's a landmark you can see from all over the city. This is where the Senate meets. This is where the House of Representatives meets. Standing on its steps, looking down the National Mall toward the Washington Monument, you can't help but feel a sense of awe. It represents the legislative branch of government, the place where the voices of the people are meant to be heard. Its neoclassical design was chosen to echo the democracy of ancient Greece and the Republic of ancient Rome. Just a mile and a half away stands the White House, the official residence and the workplace of the President of the United States. It's more than a home, It's a symbol of the executive branch and of American leadership. Every president since John Adams has lived here. Imagine the history that has unfolded within its walls. Its elegant white facade is instantly recognizable around the globe, representing power and the accessibility of the American presidency. It is, in many ways, the People's House. At the western end of the National Mall, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial. It feels more like a sacred temple than a monument. You walk up the grand marble steps and enter a chamber where a colossal statue of Abraham Lincoln sits, deep in thought. His gaze is fixed on the Capitol building in the distance. Etched into the walls, the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. And of course, there is the Washington Monument, the tall, slender obelisk that pierces the sky. At over 555 feet, it was the tallest structure in the world when it was completed. Together, these landmarks form a breathtaking landscape of democracy, each one telling a crucial part of the American story. One of the absolute best things about Washington, D.C. is its incredible collection of museums. And the most amazing part, so many of them are completely free. This is thanks to the Smithsonian Institution, often called the nation's attic. It's a group of 19 museums and galleries plus the National Zoo. The idea behind it was that knowledge should be accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. The variety is simply staggering. You can travel through time at the National Museum of American History, where you'll see everything from the original Star-Spangled Banner to Dorothy's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz. You can marvel at the wonders of the natural world at the National Museum of Natural History, a place where you can stand beneath a giant T-Rex skeleton or gaze at the legendary Hope Diamond. For art lovers, the National Gallery of Art has a collection that spans centuries, featuring masterpieces by artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, and Monet. There's truly something to spark everyone's curiosity. The museum experience in DC is also incredibly innovative. The newer museums, in particular, use powerful storytelling and interactive exhibits to engage visitors. The National Museum of African American History and Culture is a stunning example. It takes you on a profound journey through American history from the perspective of the African American experience, from the era of slavery to the present day. Similarly, the National Air and Space Museum lets you touch a real moon rock and see the Wright brothers' original 1903 flyer. Beyond the Smithsonian, DC has a rich landscape of other cultural institutions. You can explore the world of espionage at the International Spy Museum. The Phillips Collection, America's first museum of modern art, offers a more intimate setting to enjoy works by Renoir and Van Gogh. This commitment to culture makes DC a city of endless learning. It's a place where you can spend your morning pondering the future of space travel and your afternoon admiring a 17th century painting. Washington, D.C. is a city full of secrets and surprises, fascinating stories hiding in plain sight. For instance, did you know there's a network of secret tunnels beneath Capitol Hill? They're not for spies. They allow members of Congress and their staff to move quickly and privately between their offices and the Capitol, especially during bad weather. There's even a small private subway system that connects the buildings. Here's another fun fact. The Washington Monument is actually 2 different colors. If you look closely, about a third of the way up, the marble shade changes. Construction was halted for over 2 decades due to lack of funding and the interruption of the Civil War. When work resumed, builders used stone from a different quarry. The new stone was slightly different in color, creating a subtle line. It's a visible scar that tells a story of perseverance. Have you noticed there are no skyscrapers in Washington, D.C.? That's not by accident. The Height of Buildings Act, originally passed in 1899, restricts building height in the city. Generally, buildings can't be taller than the width of the street they face plus 20 feet. The unofficial rule, no building taller than the Capitol Dome. That preserved DC's horizontal skyline, letting monuments and government buildings dominate, not commercial office towers. Finally, a quirky detail about the Lincoln Memorial. Look at the back of Lincoln's head. Some say sculptor Daniel Chester French carved the profile of his rival, Confederate General Robert E. Lee, into the hair. It's a debated local legend. Another hidden detail, Lincoln's hands are thought to form the letters A and L in American Sign Language. These little secrets make exploring DC a treasure hunt for hidden stories.